Hello, and welcome once again to Yoga for Kids and Their Adults. My name is Tony. I am here at Me Time LLC, a massage and yoga studio with a gift shop here in Troy, Alabama. We are sponsored in part by the Charles Henderson Child Health Center. They are a pediatric physician and dental office here in Troy, Alabama, taking care of children from birth to age 19. To fund this, they use funds from a grant that they receive from the Children's Trust Fund. Their purpose is to prevent child abuse and neglect. So thank you very much for tuning in once again to get some yoga flow. Now, since we are at a very special time of the year, this is celebrated by a majority of people in this area and people throughout the world, I thought we might tie in some fun bunny type poses or little chick poses, because this is spring and the festival of spring and Easter, Ostara, Passover. There's all sorts of different celebrations this time of year. So since the kids are really familiar with our bunny here, we're going to start with some bunny breathing. So to get your space ready, if you have a yoga mat, you can absolutely use it. If you don't have a yoga mat, you can use a towel, a blanket, or even just the bare floor. Since it's nice and warm now, I'm in my little bare feet, but if it's cold or if you're in school, you're absolutely welcome to wear your socks, your shoes, whatever makes you comfortable. You also want to make sure that your space is clear so that you're not going to accidentally hit yourself in the head with a table or a chair, or that you're going to be smushed together with the people that you're practicing with. If you're in school, that might be a little bit more than an arm's distance front and back and side to side. If you're at home, just try to make sure that you're not going to push your sister or brother on the table, okay? Parents, you'll thank me for that one. So, once everybody is ready, we are going to start with our bunny breath. Now, to start with the bunny breath, we're going to get down to our hero's pose. To do that, we're going to kneel down onto the ground with our toes tucked up under like this, our hands on our thighs, and kind of sit back down onto your feet. I'm going to face you for this. Okay, are you all there? This should be fairly comfortable, and this bunny breath is actually a very energizing type of breath, so that's why we're going to do this at the beginning, and then we're going to kind of calm down towards the end. So, to do the bunny breath, what you're going to do is you're going to sit back into your hero's pose. If you're comfortable doing so, you can close your eyes. If you're not comfortable doing so, or if it's an unfamiliar area, you can leave them open. And you're going to take about 6 to 7 quick breaths in through your nose. And then after that, you're going to take a long, slow breath out. Okay, you ready to try this? So sit back in your little bunny pose. If you prefer, you can do the little bunny pause. Okay. So we're going to take 6 or 7 quick breaths in through the nose. Ready? Let's go. And a long, slow breath out. Let's do that again. Quick breaths in. And long, slow breath out. One last time. Quick 4 to 6 breaths in. And long, slow breath out. Can you see how your nose kind of crinkles up like a bunny when you're breathing in like that? That's your bunny breath. So if you need a quick burst of energy, this bunny breath is absolutely the thing to do. So, especially if it's like this morning when my little boy didn't want to wake up, you can do your bunny breath and you are ready to start your day. All right, so let's start with some asana or some poses. All right, from the hero's pose, I'm going to have you place your hands on the floor in front of you. Put your feet firmly on the floor, your knees pointing to either direction. Bring your hands into a prayer pose at your heart center, and you are a little chick. What kind of sound do little chicks make? Cheep, 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 cheep. You can lean to one side as your little chick. Cheep, 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 cheep. And lean to the other side of the little chick. Cheep, 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 cheep. And then back to the center. Cheep, 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 cheep. Do you have any more little cheeps in you? Do you have any little bounces in you? You can go ahead and bounce right here. You can bounce from your feet. You can bounce from your knees. You can even bounce from your bottom. Wonderful. So from here, we're going to sit down on our bottoms into our Crisscross Applesauce or easy pose. Slowly bring your feet in front of you, almost like in the bound angle pose. You're going to bring your hands up under your legs, and you're going to try to balance on your bottom. It's kind of like the boat pose, but a little back, lift the legs, and you are in an Easter flower pose. See how long you can balance here. Wonderful. One more breath, and then lean back forward. Go back into your easy pose. Wonderful. You have the Easter lily pose. Now, if you're ready, here have any pets? I have a couple of dogs, and they like to chase bunnies. So let's see if we can do some downward and upward dogs. Okay, so let's put our hands on the mat or the floor. Bring your feet out behind you, starting off with a plank pose. Lift your hips up towards the sky, letting your head come down between your arms. And this is your downward facing dog. If you can let your heels touch the ground, that's phenomenal. Otherwise, you can kind of keep them lifted up a little bit. And let's walk our dog by pumping our feet, bending our knees, keeping our head down, letting it kind of fall loosey-goosey between our arms, and you are walking your dog. Wonderful. Now, if you've ever seen your dog stretch in the morning, this is only one of those stretches that they do. Go ahead and bring your feet back and not move them, back to stillness. And then we're going to flip this by going back to the plank, bringing our hips down level so we have one straight line between our head and our heels. And then we're going to bring our head up, bringing our hips down, and we are in upward dog. You want to go back and forth between the two, so bring your hips up towards the sky. And now bring them down, kind of sinking and sagging, looking up. So we're going from downward facing dog to upward dog. Wonderful. Go ahead and bring your knees down. Come back to a hero's pose, but this time kind of sit on the top of your feet. Back to your bunny pose. Let's go ahead and do the pause. And let's see if we can bring our hands up overhead and out to the side. Let's do that again. This is a very centering posture. So bring your bunny paws up. I'm going to turn and face you. Bunny paws up in the hero pose. Reach way up, lifting your hips up. And bring your arms to float down next to you. Now we're going to tie this with our breath. Breathe in as you bring your bunny paws up towards the sky. And breathe out as you let them float down next to you. How you feeling now? Wonderful. So we've done the chick, we've done the lily, and we've done the Easter bunny. Now, to add a little fun, take a nice deep breath in, bring your hands up overhead. And as you breathe out, leave 2 fingers up, put them up here by your head. They're your Easter bunny ears. Yay! And do bunnies make any noises? No, they just kind of wiggle their noses, don't they? Go ahead and see if you can wiggle your nose. A little bit more. Come on, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. For you allergy sufferers, y'all are pretty good at this. All right, and then breathe in, bring your hands up towards the sky. And breathe out and let your hands float down back to your lap. Now, let's go ahead and stretch out our legs just a little bit. Go ahead and lift up, still on your knees. Bring your left leg out so that the toes are still pointing to the front. Okay? Now you're going to lift your right hand up overhead and reach out over that left leg. Can you feel that little stretch right there in that inner thigh area? Shouldn't be pulling or pinching. So if you feel any kind of pain, just back it up just a little bit. One more breath. Breathe in, bring your hand up overhead. Breathe out, let it float down to your side like good little bunnies. All right. Go ahead and bring that leg back in. Sit down into your bunny with your paws up. Breathe in, hands up overhead. Breathe out, let your hands float down, sitting back down onto your heels. All right, now let's breathe in, come up. Let's put your right leg out to the side. Again, your toes are facing front. Lift your left hand up overhead and reach over that leg. And that nice little bunny stretch. It's kind of like that bunny is ready to race out in front of you. And if you live out in the country, you might be seeing some bunny rabbits right about now running out around sunset or sunrise. So you've probably seen them doing some stretching and at least doing some running. One more breath. Then breathe in, bring your hand up overhead. Breathe out, let your hand float down to your side. Wonderful. Go ahead and bring your right leg back in and sit back down onto your heels. Now from here, I'm going to turn so you can see. We're going to go from this hero's pose to child's pose. And what that is you're going to put your hands out way in front of you and let your head rest. This is a nice little recovery pose. This is also very relaxing, very comfortable, and if you're not quite feeling that social, this is kind of a just for you space. That is wonderful. We're going to take one more breath here. Then we're going to push our hands and kind of walk up so that we're a nice little tabletop. Now, some other pets that you might have is a cat. Anyone here have cats? Wonderful. And you know, when they're stretching, just like our dogs, they like to arch their back up and drop their head. This is the cat pose. And if you live on a farm or anywhere near a farm, you've probably seen some cows. So we're going to go from the cat pose down to the cow pose by letting our back sink down, turning our hips up and looking up towards the ceiling. This is going to wake up our spine. So breathe out while you go back up to cat pose, arching your back, tucking your tail. Breathe in as you sink down into cow pose, turning your head and your bottom up. Let's do that one more time. Breathe out as you arch your back up into a nice cat pose, stretching your back and your spine. And breathe in as you let your spine sink. Let your hips come up, let your head come up as you go down into the cow pose. Go ahead and push back into the child's pose. Kind of let your back feel this other curve that you can have. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and come back up onto our feet. Now, starting on our feet, we're going to start in mountain pose. All right? So if you remember mountain pose from before, that's great. If not, follow along. Okay? So you're going to put your feet under your hips. So they're about hip width apart. They're not quite together. That's for more balancing postures. Just right directly under your feet, you're going to lift your toes, spread them out wide, push them into the ground, and pull back like you're holding on to the earth, like it might spin you off. Okay? So you're holding on to the earth, bending your knees a little bit so that they're on top, they're right over your arch, the little lifted part in the middle of your foot. And then your hips are back over your heels. This bend in your knees keeps your knees from locking and keeps you from hurting your knees. Okay? So lift, spread, push, pull. There we go. Nice active feet. All right, now your hips are going to be right over your shoulders. These are shoulders. Your shoulders are going to be right over your hips. Your ears are going to be over your shoulders. So it might need you to pull your head back just a little bit. Bring your hands down to your side and let them relax. We're not really tight. This is a nice, loose kind of arm posture here. We're more focusing on our posture here. So, we have had a wonderful bit of rain lately, which kind of helps the flowers bloom. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start with our hands at prayer at our heart center. And as we breathe in, we're going to bring those hands up towards the sky. And we're going to let our fingers fall out like a bloom of a flower. I'm sure you've seen lots of really pretty flowers out there. One more deep breath in. And as you breathe out, let the petals of the flower fall and gently waft in the breeze all the way down. They're floating down back to your sides. Let's try that again. Bring your hands to heart center in prayer. And as you breathe in, open up your hands into a flower. And as you breathe out, let those petals just float down to your side. Wiggle your fingers as you go. All right, this is one more time. Start off in prayer. Bring your hands up overhead as you breathe in. Open your hands in a nice little flower. And then let those petals slowly waft in the breeze and float down to your sides as you breathe out. All right, now let us try some balance. Okay, in spring, this is when a lot of our plants start to come alive, and you'll see leaves and flowers and everything just growing and blossoming and blooming and in such full, beautiful colors. We're going to pretend that we are trees. So to do that, we're going to go into tree pose. So from mountain pose, you're going to shift your weight over to one side. It doesn't matter which side you start off as long as you're not knocking into the person next to you. So I'm going to start by shifting over to my left, your right. Once you have your balance there and you can easily lift your other foot up without any interference, you can start off simple by just keeping your foot up. Now, if this isn't challenging for you, you turn your knee out and put your foot on the inside of your opposite leg. All right, how you doing? Now, if you need something to balance on, you can hold on to the back of a chair or a couch or even a table. Don't hold on to your TV, though, because if you lose your balance, that TV's going down with you, okay? So from here, again, let's start off with our hands at prayer at heart center. And let it bloom into that flower that we just practiced. And we are a blossoming tree. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and bring our hands back down. Turn our knees forward and put our foot back on the ground. And go ahead and shake out your legs, because those balancing postures can really get those lower legs really tight. So kick them out. Shake your feet if you need to. And let's do a blooming tree on the other side. So let's start off in our mountain pose. Shift your weight to the opposite side. And when you're ready and you can lift your foot, again, you can start off by just holding your foot up. You can turn your knee outward, putting the bottom of your foot against the inner side of your leg. Bring your hands to prayer at heart center. And then let your hands bloom into a flower, a flowering tree. Sometimes it's magnolias, sometimes it's cherry blossoms, whatever flower you can see. And then go ahead and bring your hands back down. Let your knee come forward, put your foot back down, and go ahead and shake out your lower legs. Wonderful. Now, what else does the rain normally bring about this time of year? We have little bitty flowers, don't we? Not just big trees, but little bitty flowers. So we're going to make a star. Some of those flowers have 4 or 5 petals, and they open up wide. So let's get a nice wide stance, wider than your shoulders. Bring your arms out level with the ground, palms facing forward, so facing me. And now, here you are a 5-pointed star. Wonderful. Now, to add a little movement to this, because as that rain's coming down, it's bringing some wind with it, isn't it? So let's go ahead and bend your knees and your elbows, and then pop up like a flower blooming afterwards. All right, one more time. Squat down, bend your knees and elbows, and then pop up just like a blooming flower after the rain. Last time, go ahead and bend your knees and elbows. Bring your arms out, sit tall, and you are a blossoming flower. Let's go ahead and give yourself a hug. You've done so well with all of these nice little postures. Go ahead and swap arms, whichever one's on top. Give yourself a nice little stretch in your upper back. And when you are ready, let's go ahead and come back down to our seated poses. So we've done our standing star. Sometimes there are flowers that are leaning over onto the ground. So bring your feet in a wide, spread your feet a little wider. Bring your arms up level with the ground. And you're in a modified star pose. So let's breathe in nice and tall, lengthen and straighten your spine. Turn and face your left foot and bring your hands down to your foot. Feel this nice stretch on the back of your leg. One more breath. And then when you breathe in, lengthen and straighten your spine. And then breathe out, come up and turn forward. Let's try that on the opposite side. Arms level with the ground, palms forward. Breathe in, lengthen and straighten your spine. turn and face your right foot, and reach for your foot as you breathe out. Feel that nice stretch on the back of your legs. Wonderful. One more breath. Breathe in, lengthen and straighten your spine. Breathe out, come up, turn forward, arms out, and let your hands slowly float down. Let's go ahead and bring our feet in. And now our legs kind of make leaves. And our bodies are the stem for a beautiful flower. So let's try this again. Let's start with our hands at prayer and heart center. Breathe in, bring your hands up, let them bloom into a flower. And breathe out, let your hands float down like petals on the breeze. Bring your hands back up to heart center in prayer. Breathe in, let your hands come all the way out, open up like a flower. And as you breathe out, let them waft and wave and let the petals fall and float to your side. Bring your hands back up one more time. We're going to breathe in, bring your hands all the way up, bloom like a big flower. And breathe out and let the petals fall at your side. Leave them at your side this time. So we're going to end today's routine by a nice relaxing breath. Now, how many of you can have just your pinky and your thumb out and bring the rest of your fingers down? Can you do that? If not, it's okay to just use your pointer finger and your thumb. But your pinky and your thumb is how I was taught this. And this is going to be alternate nostril breathing. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to plug up one side of your nose. You're going to breathe in one nostril. Plug up the opposite side. Breathe out the other nostril. And then you're going to do the reverse. You're going to breathe in that nostril. Plug it up. Open the other side. Breathe out. Let's do this a couple times. Now, if you're more comfortable just using your little pinchers here, your pointer finger and your thumb, that's fine. But you're going to breathe in one nostril, plug it up, open up the other side, breathe out that nostril. And then breathe in that nostril, plug it up, open up the other side, and breathe out that nostril. Kind of sounds kind of nasally here, but that's okay. So let's try that. Breathe in. Switch the nostrils and breathe out. Now breathe in that side. Plug up that side, open up the other side, and breathe out that side. Let's do that for a couple more breaths. Just 3 more breaths, okay? And there you have it. Are you feeling a little bit more calm, a little bit more grounded and centered? Wonderful. Well, this is our bound angle posture. This is a very comfortable posture if ever you need some more grounding and breathing. So to do this, you just bring the bottoms of your feet together and let your knees fall open. And if they can touch the ground, great. If not, don't try to push them. Instead, you can support them with a cushion or a blanket or a little pillow or something, just to make sure that you are comfortable and able to sit upright. So lengthen and straighten your spine as you are practicing this breathing, this alternate nostril breathing. And this is going to bring us to the end of our routine today. I would like to thank each and every one of you for participating in our spring celebration, our Easter yoga. And I welcome you to join us again next week for our first April. Actually, I guess that will be our second April routine. So once again, my name is Tony. I am here at Me Time LLC. That is a massage and yoga studio and gift shop here in Troy, Alabama. This program is sponsored in part by the Charles Henderson Child Health Center. They are a pediatric physician and dentist office taking care of children from birth to age 19. They use funds from a grant that they get from the Children's Trust Fund, whose purpose is to prevent child abuse and neglect. So thank you very much for tuning in. I welcome you again. Remember to be kind to yourself and others. And like I do with every routine, I like to end with namaste. Don't let that scare you, though. All that means is that the light and the spirit in me recognizes and is grateful for the light and spirit in you. And like I said, I am truly grateful for each of you tuning in and practicing with me today. So have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you again next week. Namaste.